On Gravitas, we have repeatedly told you how the Himalayas are a ticking time bomb as far as a major earthquake is concerned. We have told you how scientists are sounding the alarm about the urgent need to prepare for that eventuality. Today, this geologically volatile region was hit by a magnitude 6.8 earthquake. 6.8. On Tuesday at about 9 a.m. local time, a powerful earthquake struck Tibet's holy city of Shigatse. It was followed by 50 aftershocks. You heard that right. Reports indicating, in fact, that over 126 people have lost their lives as the earthquake left behind a trail of destruction in Tibet. Videos shot by eyewitnesses showed streets of Lhasa County in Shigatse covered in debris. The energy unleashed by the tectonic movement toppled houses in the remote Himalayan villages. The quake's epicenter, located in Tingri County, high on the Tibetan plateau, was close to the border with Nepal, which is around 50 miles north of the world's highest mountain. The nearest major city to the epicenter is the holy city of Shigatse. The city is home to around 800,000 people and the traditional seat of the Panchen Lama, the second highest spiritual leader in Tibetan Buddhism, second only to the Dalai Lama. Video released by Tibet Fire and Rescue showed emergency personnel searching for survivors, digging through the rubble and the debris of heavily damaged houses. Another video showed rescue workers moving a victim on a stretcher in Shigatse city. According to Chinese state broadcaster CCTV, rescue teams, including the Chinese Air Force, have joined in the search efforts. The earthquake that rocked the northern foothills of the Himalayas also shook buildings in neighboring Nepal, Bhutan, India in the process. It rattled visitors to a Mount Everest base camp. Authorities closed down a base camp for climbing the Mount Everest as well as the surrounding scenic area. In a statement, in fact, following the earthquake, Chinese President Xi Jinping called on the officials to make all-out efforts to search and rescue the survivors, minimize casualties, accommodate the affected residents, and ensure their safety and warmth in the winter cold. Remember, Tibet is one of the most restricted and politically sensitive regions there. Its access to foreign visitors remains tightly controlled. Beijing has maintained a tight grip on Tibet since the Dalai Lama fled to India in 1959. While earthquakes are common in this part of the world, it's important to note that large-scale infrastructure construction is not. The dam building and mining activities across the Himalayas are polluting and disturbing the already fragile ecosystem, particularly by China. The Chinese regime has been recklessly mining, digging and constructing infrastructure in Tibet. And this is despite alarming warnings about social and ecological concerns from critics as well as experts. You see, ever since China militarily occupied Tibet, it has been notorious for exploiting the rich mineral resources of the region with impunity. The mineral exploitation and mining started with small projects in the late 1950s, and now they have increased multifold. China has expanded its mining activities along the Himalayas. It has rapidly scaled up and established numerous new mines in the so-called Tibetan Autonomous Region. Several of these mines have been turned into some of the largest mineral extraction sites in the world, and all this overlooks safety measures, reportedly disregarding the fragile ecosystem. China's unchecked expansion, in a way, resulted in landslides. We are talking about the devastating landslide of 2013. 83 miners tragically lost their lives after being trapped in the Gyama mine in Mezokungar County in Tibet Autonomous Region. The Gyama mine is operated by Huatalong Mining Development, a subsidiary of the China National Gold Group Corporation, which is Chinese state-owned enterprise. Experts who studied the impact of Chinese policy on Tibet suspected that the landslide could have been a man-made disaster. Nearly a decade later, The Chinese government continues to see Tibet as an opportunity to enrich their coffers in a way. Recently, China has also made a big breakthrough, by the way, in mineral exploration on the Tibetan plateau. On Monday, researchers from the China Geological Survey said more than 20 million metric tons of new copper resources have been uncovered on the Tibetan plateau. The Chinese researchers estimating that Tibet's copper potential could reach 150 million tons. And let's not forget, China is also operating the biggest chromite mine in Tibet, the Norbusa mine, located in the north of Lunse. In Tibetan language, Norbusa means land of gems. And the Chinese regime, it seems, is plundering this land of gems. It's not just copper or chromite. China is also mining for gold and lithium in Tibet. So far, China, the world's biggest EV market, largely relied on other countries for lithium supply. But recently, China has started exploiting the Tibetan plateau, which is said to be around 85% of the country's total lithium reserves. If all this information is coming as a surprise for you, do not beat yourself up. The reason you don't hear about this often, perhaps, is because the Chinese government has clamped down on modes of communication. It's thanks to the latest commercially available satellite imagery that one is able to come to know about the extent of China's exploitation of Tibet. For China, Tibet is a land of opportunity, waiting to be mined and exploited. But scientists have raised concerns about how the Tibetan plateau, the rooftop of the world, is geologically volatile and vulnerable to earthquakes and landslides. In fact, critics have flagged concerns about how the Xi Jinping-led Chinese government is posing increased threats of instability. China's mining and dam projects have heightened risks of natural disasters like earthquake, landslides. And that's just one part of the story. We are not even talking about the health hazards, cultural subjugation of the Tibetans, pollution, environmental damage, and the degradation of the ecologically sensitive Tibetan plateau. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.